Oh, actually, I mean, I know that we're recording here, but so I've seen you guys. I'm a fan and a professor at Case Western University, and I've seen you all since 2005. I moved here in 2004, and I remember seeing you first at the House of Blues and being like, "Holy shit!" And listen, I'm a fan. Okay, you guys have changed my life. Okay, I mean, I'm sure you hear this from a lot of people. I'm saying.
Thank you.
And I think I told you this weird connection about Govindan Karta, right? Who Govindan? You guys know Govindan. One of you worked for Govindan Karta.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, Chuck did.
So his dad did the same. Did his PhD in the same place where my dad did his PhD.
Okay.
So I've known Govindan has known me since I was born. And there's a picture of him like with holding me on his shoulders like that. So there's a small kind of world here. He gave me a record and a Mo album that you signed because I think you got fired or something.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, like something like that.
Yeah.
So, and to make the world even smaller and stranger is that his daughter attended Case, and she was my advisee for a little while. So
Oh
it was
my God,
so,
that's
and
great.
I mean, I remember she was sitting in my class, and I was like, "Karta? How many Kartas are there?" And then I was like, "Holy shit!" So the world can be really small in a really beautiful way.
That was
Yeah.
great.
Right. So anyway, so my name is Deepak Sharma. I'm a professor at Case Western Reserve University, and I'm was the inaugural distinguished scholar in the public humanities, in addition to being in the Department of Religious Studies. And I teach classes, all kinds of classes. Some of my classes are on Hinduism, Indian philosophy, things like that. But my latest thing, but really, one could say it's more original or authentic, has been working on thinking about psychedelics. I have an affiliation with Harvard University. I'm a affiliate researcher in one of their psychedelic studies. I'm going to close the door. Psychedelic studies groups. At any rate, so this has meant that I've taught a class for the last maybe 5 years. That's Religion 230, drugs, religion, and mystical experience. Okay, and I'm really so totally curious, specifically, right, about not drugs in general, but psychedelics, mysticism, and religious experience, right? And so so I think I have 17 students in the fall, and I'm going to show some of this video to them. Some of the video will also be available to the public. I'll put it on YouTube or something like that. So so say whatever you want to say, and if there's anything that you wish that you hadn't said, I'll edit it out, all right? So I'm so psyched to meet you. Let me get over this little fanboy thing here. So so let me put it this way, right? So people, certainly fans, all the time connect drugs, religion, mystical experience, and music, right? It happens all the time, right? And I think that it would be, it's obvious that some of your fans come to the shows on psychedelics, or they go there with an intention to do psychedelics and have some kind of experience during the show. And I mentioned that 2006, 2007 recreational chemistry. Like it's like, I mean, you're seeing that there's a reason behind that, right? So there's a lot of questions that I have for you, okay? And let me just throw them out there, and you guys just talk, like and it's all good, right? Like we don't have to be so formal, okay? Right, really, like I hope you can tell I'm not formal. So, Bobby Weir in an interview a few years ago, it was like on ABC, I think it was. I don't know if you guys saw that interview, but he said something like that when he plays, he's channeling the music. That's what he said. He was channeling, and I don't know if you remember this, but he said something about this stories and characters in the Grateful Dead musical kind of genre, or that world, the stories. And he said those people exist, and that he is just channeling it, right? And that's channeling the stories. Grateful Dead is a lot of it about stories, right? And Garcia is doing something else too, right? And what I'm wondering then is about when you hit the jam and you are being creative in the way that you all are, where are you? Are you there? Do you disassociate? Do you feel like somebody else is playing? All those things. And throw into that, does psychedelics help you in the past? You may not be doing that. So I'm just opening up there. And I should say one more thing. Like I tell you, I was listening to that Red Rocks Pigeons Mo 4 and you know, the jam was so good. Like, not only are you guys doing something, but you're doing it together. And I mean, it's hard for me as a professor not to think that you're tapping into something far out. I mean, like, it's unreal. You guys have played for 35 years, and we can hear it. It's unbelievable. What the world you create for us. Say what you like.
Well, I think that one thing for certain is that I don't think we have to be on psychedelics. I think just the fact that, you know, maybe in our younger years we did experiment with stuff like that, and I think that you don't necessarily have to be presently taking them to benefit from past experiences, and, you know, continue to sort of like having your world opened up a little bit because of that.
I can't remember, there's a famous quote about that. So once the doors of perception are open, they stay open. Right. And I can't remember if it was Healy or John Lennon or somebody said it. And
I think it was Ram Dass.
Ram Dass?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right.
Somebody, and that was sort of and that's, I think it's very sort of commonly accepted that if you have a psychedelic experience, and then once you kind of know, oh, that's, and I think even Bobby has talked about that to some extent, that he didn't need to continue taking psychedelics because those pathways had already been open and established. And
right. So, and that was back in 1989 or earlier. You were maybe doing psychedelics.
Yeah, earlier, and then for sure. But like, you know, the thing that I find, like you know, Bobby's saying that, you know, the music sort of just, you know, basically is kind of playing him, I guess, is what he's getting at. Is I understand that to a degree. I mean, sometimes, but it's not, you know, I personally do dissociate, you know, while I'm playing, when we get really into jams, like, so much so that, like, you know, sometimes, like, cues that we're supposed to have are just lost on me because I'm, like, gone somewhere else, you know, like, and, like, I don't know if it's just, you know, I really don't know what it is per se, like what makes me go into that sort of zone, but definitely just feel like I'm playing in this musical park that's happening, you know, somewhere in my head, and it's just this weird situation, I guess.
A lot of times those are the best, like when you get out of your own head or get out of your own way, the band completely does that, and then you have to react, but without thinking about it, maybe.
Right,
so,
and that's sort of
the best.
Right, that's sort of the ideal thing too. I mean, ultimately, like that's, I think that's the thing that we strive for, that you strive to get to, so that you don't have those distractions, that your ego doesn't get in the way, that your self even doesn't get in the way at all, and then you can be that conduit and be open, not directed, but to be directed almost by what's happening in real time, like that experiential thing, and really being present for it. And it's super challenging. Wow. It's hard not to think, oh, I should play this scale here, I should play this riff here, this would sound, you know what I mean? And you want to react spontaneously and without forethought, without without manipulating it in some way and having it be a little bit freer. But to get to that free space sometimes takes half a show to get there. Or, it depends, like, you know,
You're trying not to violate the prime directive, you know, like,
yeah.
in these, like,
it's funny, like, I'm a runner, for example, and I run without music. I've never
run without music.
I never ever listen to music.
Run the mo, right?
Yeah, no, I like to have it. I want to hear the outside, and I have a lot going on in my head. But it usually takes me a good half hour or more until my mind is clear, and then I can sort of get to the good stuff. You know, but in the beginning, it's, you know, all the sort of day to day and what's on my mind, etc. But then about a half hour into my run, that's when my mind starts to free up.
Got it.
And I start to get really creative, which is I've written so many songs while running, but it's not until later in the run, once I hit like 4 or 5 miles and I start getting to that space. And I feel like, you know, there's sort of a similar process on stage. It would be great if we could just drop into it and be instantly open and free and get to that space in our minds, but it takes practice.
It's practice, right? You know, it's funny thinking about the word practice. Is that, you know, you have football players, let's say, and they practice, such that they're in a scenario and they react without thinking, right? And they do whatever play they need to. Say the Buffalo Bills, will do something that they need to do in order to score the point or do the defense or whatever it is, right? And so what you're saying is that to some degree, when you're working together like that, you've practiced so much that you don't even think that you're going to do this, but it happens kind of automatically or something like that. Right? And Rob, you were saying something about the space that you're inhabiting, and I'm going to put words in your mouth here. Is it, so to speak, is it a space outside of language? It's a funny way to put words in your mouth, but is it outside of language? Can you not describe it? Is it
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's definitely a feeling. It's a feeling, and for me personally, you know, like the thing I was talking about is like when this is the thing, like people call it, you know, when you're in the jam, right?
Yeah.
And it just makes no sense to me. Like jam doesn't really approach what's happening.
Well, where did you use?
I don't know, because the words don't really come, but it's like it's like this thing that's growing, you know, and living off of itself somehow. In my that's how I feel it, I guess. And you know, I visualize it when it's happening. That's when I kind of dissociate, and then it's spongy. It's more of a sponge than a jam, I think.
It's a gray sponge.
It's cool though, because I mean, if you think about it, like when we get to that space, and everybody is sort of in that same space. I'm talking about the musicians on stage, and we get to a point where we can harness that energy and be open to it, and then that we are creating something spontaneous in the moment. But the cool thing is, and you know this, you've been in the crowd.
Yeah.
We've all been there for it, riding along with it and contributing to that energy and giving back to it at the same time. And for that, like, I'm getting chills just talking about it because we've all had those experiences. And everybody is in the room having that shared experience at the same time.
Right.
So it goes beyond us. It's like we are, like, I often feel like we are not responsible for the music that's happening on stage. Collectively, the entire presence of minds and spirit and energy in the room, everybody there is responsible for it.
Beautiful.
And it's that collective shared experience, I think, is the reason why everybody keeps coming back again. Because it's like a drug.
Fair enough. You going to say something?
Well, I was just thinking, that there's, you know, like people are supposed to have a muse, like you have a muse, artists have a muse, but I think when you kind of collect, I think there's like a collective muse happening somewhere, you know, in the realm of jam sponge music. There's like each group has like this has their own muse,
Their own collective jam sponge
Yes.
that we share.
Yeah, and I don't know what, you know.
Every now and then we need to disinfect it.
I don't know what the muse would look like, or, you know, be called, but I think like each group sort of like develops their own thing, and, you know, this family that we have has something beyond what you can explain, and it's hard if you can't explain it. How do I explain it?
Right.
So.
Right. Well, this is the challenge. Do you know when he disassociates?
Sometimes.
What will you do? What will you do?
Well, it's there's a way that the band plays when we're doing something that we know, or we rehearse, or we have been playing, and when we play something different, or if when we get to some kind of a feel that the band is putting out, you can tell that everyone is like at the edge of a cliff. Like and we don't know what's gonna come next.
Nice.
And the band kind of gets like lighter. It's weird. Like sometimes we're like really we're pushing and we're thinking too much, and then sometimes the band just goes like that, and we kind of like take off.
Yeah,
you can hear him when he does different things, or he.
It's interesting because we all have different takes on what's going on too, you know?
yeah.
Like,
You
we're all
can't tell.
explaining it differently, and it's...
But it definitely becomes lighter in that moment. There's a thing, it takes much less effort somehow to get to that space. It takes a lot of effort to get there, and then once you're there, it takes no effort at all.
It
And
becomes
if you
effortless.
Well, that's the thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
there's something about it when collectively, like, we are in that synchronicity, and it just everything is clicking.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. So when we think about, say, psychedelics or mystical experiences, that oftentimes people report being in a space outside of language. And if you have a mystical experience, it could be outside, inexpressible, for example. You heard William James? William James was a Harvard psychologist. His brother was Henry James, and he was one of the first people to think about mystical. He was the first one to kind of organize mystical experiences. He said one of the things about mystical experience is that it should be ineffable, it should be inexpressible. The other thing is something he said was noetic, is that you feel like you have some knowledge, but you're not sure what it is.
Right.
Right. And he, by the way, he did nitrous, and he thought that was really wonderful. This is like the late 19th century, okay? But so in this connection, you know, so mystical experiences in religions, Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, whatever, Judaism, doesn't matter. But this space outside of language, but all three of you have been talking about this space outside of language and how that you use all these metaphors to try and describe it. And so it's sort of like this, it feels lighter, and everybody gets this, I get a sense of what you're talking about, but it's still outside of language.
But in our band though, like it's like if the six of us are in a room, and the way that we talk to each other, like people are like making jokes or like or whatever, like there's like kind of a weird ebb and flow of what we talk about, and it gets weird. But it's the same thing, like when we get to that point, like it's almost like all of us are talking to each other, but there's no words spoken. So we're using music to do that kind of thing, but it's the same kind of like dynamic that where it gets weird. It's funny. It's a little bit sad, like, but it's yeah, but
Why sad?
why not?
Okay.
It's part of the experience, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Because
We play dark music.
Yeah, you do. I was
And
just thinking,
we lean into it,
Yeah, no, you
because
do play
there's
dark music,
there's
so-
something that's like, it's
Yeah.
still like visceral about it, and it's not,
Yeah.
doesn't have to be bad or negative,
Yeah. No,
just
you're right.
because it's that,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I was thinking about Evil Mo. And it's like, I mean, like, you can feel it, right? You can really feel it sometimes.
Yeah, and so sometimes it's fun
It's like
to do it, you know, sometimes you just...
Wario.
Wario. Right. You know, it's funny when I work out and this kind of thing, and when there was a 2009 Pine Street. I don't know if you remember it. You guys did it in Arizona. But you did some really evil stuff, and and then to get myself to do my personal best on lifting, I had to listen to that because it was like mean. And I was like, fuck. And all this. But you're right. Fair enough. There's evil Mo.
yeah.
Like, so I have a question for you, if you don't mind. And if you don't want to explore this, we don't have to. Yeah, for you in particular. And let me preface it, right? Is that I don't know if you were able to listen to it. In 1995, in Bend, Oregon, at Smith Rock, I fell and broke my skull and had contra-coup damage into my brain. So I had brain damage. You could probably tell, right?
Yeah.
And
Here, that's where the brain goes like.
And I had aphasia. I'm having it right now.
Right.
And I sent. I'm sorry, I'm having it right now.
No.
So I sent you I did the local Museum of Contemporary Art did an exhibit about death, and they recorded me and they did a sound. I sent you the link, but I don't think Adam sent it to you. But he can take a listen to it. And so what I'm wondering about, right, is that I didn't quite have a white light experience, right? I mean, you know, helicopters, all these kind of things to get me to stay alive. And you're have a really special kind of space in this because you've experienced aphasia. And you know what it's like to be outside of language, but inside of language and stuck with language and having like an experience.
Aphasia and apraxia, so I couldn't even like speak or make those sounds.
Right.
So, yeah, but I could listen, which is good, but yeah.
So can you connect anything with the experience that you had, like when you were disoriented, shall we say, like during the stroke, after the stroke, the time that it takes you to rebuild yourself, and what it's like to be in the jam? And is there any overlap? And so if we think of it this way, right, is that like there's a set of things outside of language, right? And you and I have both experienced something outside of language because of our brain chemistry.
Right.
Are they similar? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you get it, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I think that I was lucky in that I kept my musician brain, but the problem that I had was speech and like talking about things like describing anything. So music, like the good thing was like that to me, music is language, and you play with, and it's really like playing with other people, not just like playing something.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing was for me, like I didn't have to rely on getting back to my speech, like the high point of speech. I'm still working on it, but the good thing is, and I said that many times.
There's lots of good things.
Yeah, it's out of language for me. It's out of speech. Everything is not. You don't have to put a word on anything. You have to feel what the vibe is or whatever. But it's really more about just like how things go together and the feeling you have when you play with another person who has an instrument or someone who is singing. It's a completely different thing, and talking about it is really hard, but playing music is much better for me.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
But it's really hard to play music still because I have to like just work on that as well.
What the thing I was going to add, Chuck, was that even though the music may come more readily or easily to you than the words and the English part of it, I mean, it's widely accepted that music is a language.
Yeah. Right.
And very interestingly, it's like you said, you didn't really lose that thing somehow.
Yeah.
And while you were still trying to get English back up and running again, his musical vocabulary was there almost all along. And as soon as he started playing, he sounded like Chuck. He did all the Chuck things, and he spoke like Chuck through guitar, like all the things, like still does to this day. Like it was unaffected by the stroke, and like all his Chuckisms, the things that he does that sound so uniquely like Chuck, still sound like Chuck, and have all along.
And it is almost like speaking like I'm doing right now. You make a sentence with everything you need to make that sentence, and then you need a period, and then you have to get to the next thing. And music is like that. Coming up with like melodies and like statements it's a different thing than just talking like this. But it's almost the same in a weird way.
That's beautiful.
I
Thank you.
don't know if that means anything.
It doesn't have to
It
mean
means
anything.
everything and nothing at all.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's hard it's hard to describe.
So sometimes when I've had aphasia, like I can picture, let's say, I remember when I had aphasia, I could picture a cup, and I couldn't use the word, and I would tell somebody like, give me that thing that we drink out of.
Right.
Right.
You have to
Yeah.
go around.
So when you thought of music, and you saw or you heard or visualized or imagined the notes in the way that you do, which I don't know what that would be like. I'm not a musician. So like, is it? And then could you still translate it to?
Yeah.
Or you could. So it wasn't like this is a cup or you know,
My ear was still the same. Like I could hear things and it made sense to me. Which is, if I didn't have that, I might not be able to speak right now, because that hearing myself and other people helped me to just work out how things sound and how everything is put together.
Right.
So it's that I was really lucky.
We were all lucky.
Well.
Yeah. It's true emotional here. But so it's interesting that you three and of course the other members of the band you have this kind of unique capacity to talk to each other, both using your instruments and when you're all in a room, and that even when you're in a room you are what is it, jam sponging or whatever word you use, you're improvising, shall we say, right?
Yeah,
that's
improvising and creating something greater than all of you.
That's the thing, like when all of us talk, it's like all of us just like yelling at each other, but it's the
Right.
same thing, like it's the same kind of like, you don't think about it, you just like do it, you know? And it's
It's like at a loud Italian restaurant.
yeah, and it's entertaining for sure.
Okay, I'm sure.
It's a great family dynamic though.
Right.
You know what I mean? We've been together for
Yeah.
over 35 years
Right.
and have spent more time with each other than anybody else in our lives, and know each other pretty well and are really comfortable also in those settings.
Right.
And that becomes it has its own ebb and flow to it too.
So in the same way that if you six are sitting at a table and having an argument about something, let's say, do you ever argue musically?
Sometimes.
Yeah? What would you be arguing about?
Well, you know, like
Oh, these two are. Say more.
sometimes like it's part of the it's part of like what we're trying to do is kind of like and it's improv for sure. Like you want to spar with like the drums or the keys or vocals and everything. Like everyone is like call and response.
Yeah.
You know, so that's part of it. And sometimes it's like a low level kind of thing where everything is kind of percolating, and then sometimes it gets way up, and
Right.
it's a different. It just hopefully it's different every time.
It's different every
We do
time.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. For me, it is.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
say, I was just gonna say, like the only, like, I want to say conflicts, and they aren't really conflicts. When we kind of run into those things on stage, it's just because there isn't a script, and then
And then
somebody
you-
might
then
want
you
to take
go,
a right turn,
What?
and somebody else might want to take a left turn, but there is no designated leader or plan.
Right.
And so then you have that. And so then there starts to be this, not a rift, but the music starts going in different directions.
Right.
And then ultimately, one of those things prevails. And it might be a matter, but again, it might be a matter of not listening. Or your ego being in the way, or all of those things. And if we get back to that place where it's like, and sometimes you don't know like what the intent is here. and your idea may not be the best one.
Fair enough.
You know, and so those are the only things when we're just not playing together.
But you finally do have a set list.
We do.
Having a set list doesn't matter though,
No.
because it's in the context of an open
right,
space.
right.
I could say that we're playing Timmy Tucker,
Right.
but that doesn't matter about what happens in the
Yeah,
context
fair
of Timmy
enough.
Tucker,
Fair enough.
because it's never
Right.
the same.
Fair enough.
Ideally,
Right, it never is the same.
right? And if somebody starts playing it the same, even that could be an affront to whatever, like your, mystical experience is at the moment. It's like, well, why are you just doing the rote thing right now? And we were just about to go to Deep Space Nine, and then you were, you had us tethered to the ground.
He keeps looking
and-
at you, Rob.
I don't know.
No,
That's
okay.
I was thinking of the call and response thing that Chuck was talking about, and the musical. We do have these musical arguments because I hear there might be a call and response section, and you would think that would be that in itself would be the musical argument, but going on underneath, it's like I could see these guys trying to figure out who's calling and who's responding, and they're just both calling at each other sometimes, and nobody's responding, and it's just everyone's doing
That's funny.
complete
And sometimes it gets flipped because I might be going first and Chuck goes second, but then somehow we get the rhythm screwed up, and then all of a sudden now he's going first and I'm going second, and it changes.
it's sort of it's I think it's an alpha power play that they're working on where one.
I like doing things like when someone is like when Al is playing a solo, and it's the call kind of thing, but I'll go underneath and do something else. It's almost like you're trying to do this,
Beautiful.
but it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, that's a different thing.
yeah.
I mean, he'll send you a musical thing for you to grab, and you'll just do something completely obtuse. That doesn't, it's almost you're I'm not doing that, so I'm doing this instead.
Or I can't.
Or you
Sometimes-
can't.
Sometimes
You can't, buddy.
I can't.
Wow.
I have that with Vinny sometimes, too, just, fighting over, not where the one is, but fighting over, what beat, how I want the groove to be, so I'll be, pushing in one direction for something, and he'll just, hammer down something, and that's a musical argument we'll have, and, in the end, you really can't fight with the drummer. Yeah, there's only so much the bass can do.
Right, fair enough.
Well, and that's sort of true of all of our positions on stage. It's
Right.
it's 1 versus 5.
Right.
If it's even a versus situation, there's no point in it sometimes. You know what I mean? The point is to try and do this together,
Right.
in unity,
Right.
in concert.
Right.
You
in
know?
concert.
And
So you use the word mystical experience. I mean, that's a pretty heavy word to use, a phrase. And do you?
those are your words. You put those words in my mouth.
But
Nobody
would you
here
say-
said that.
Would you say it was I mean, for lack of a better phrase,
Yeah.
is it a mystical experience when you're playing? When you hit the jam? I mean,
Yes.
I don't know of a better phrase,
The
yeah.
one you did for yesterday was pretty fucking good, right?
I don't know what else you would use, it's a dreamlike state sometimes.
Dreamlike. Wow.
Um,
It's also like that there in the audience.
I mean, sometimes, and also there's just, honestly, sometimes you go up there and you're just, playing a song,
Right.
and that's all there is.
Right. No, but
And it's not, bad or good.
right.
It's just, it is what it is.
Do you all talk about? You probably know it, of course, when you're in the jam where you're in this improvisational moment, the mystical experience. You all know it, even though you're not there necessarily to know it in the way that you get disassociated. But after the song is over or after the show is over, do you talk about it?
I was going to say occasionally, we do not come back and critique our show.
Yeah.
But occasionally, if something is exceptional, we may talk about it and be like, "Hey, that was really cool," or we went to a really cool space, and talk about it for a few minutes. And
I mean,
But we
for a
also-
while we were walking off stage and just going, well, fooled them again.
Even when when it's a good.
Even when it's good, just for fun, you know.
So and when you 35 years, 1989. Also, I think we're about the same age. I graduated from high school in '87, and so you probably 86.
I'm 86.
86. And you know, it was a pretty intense time now at that time period.
Yeah.
And it was easy to experiment in all kinds of ways.
Yeah.
But to be really, really question you, when you must have at that time period, did you dose and play? Did you take mushrooms and play? Did you do any of those things?
We did a couple of those things.
Well, we were not a band in 1986.
No, but 89, like 89,
90.
91.
When we first started.
Yeah.
There were
times we used to have mushroom tea parties.
Now, are there any of those on archives?
They could be. I mean, those
Yes.
were.
Which stands out in your mind?
There was one where
everybody's gonna
there
raise
was
it.
one that just went. The one that stands out the most
Yeah, what's that?
was just like the whole thing just eating itself like within the first half of the first set, and the whole show just ended, and we just started wandering around the bar for the rest of the night.
Wow, it was like
It was
it was like an acid trip,
it was a bad yes.
or an acid
That was
test,
an
test.
acid trip. I think.
Acid test rather. Acid
Yeah.
But do you remember? I recall from that you had described something about before it completely imploded on stage, that like you were kind of freaked out on stage, and then you looked over at me and I was down on the floor turning
Yes.
the knobs on my pedal.
Yeah, he was just
laughing
making
hysterically.
Yeah.
Having a ball. It was not.
Well, it was like I was just in this like sort of audio hell, where it was just like nothing was coming out of my bass. It wasn't working right in my head, and all I heard was just insane like feedback and noise. And I was going down this spiraling, and I look over and Al's just like, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I'm like, this is not.
Like it was just getting good.
Run away.
I'm like yelling at the sound guy. I was like, I had a bad trip on that one.
But so are there some good memories of doing psychedelics when you were playing?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and even in recent times, we started microdosing on stage, and that's been really
What are you microdosing?
mushrooms.
Oh, mushrooms, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Are you gonna microdose today?
That was not. There's never. It's not a plan.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's one of those things that just happens.
Nice, beautiful. But so mushroom microdosing is something that helps you with your kind of improvisation more so than other substances?
I would say so. Yeah. We had some really good gigs, and for some reason, like it would hit a couple of the other guys a lot harder than it would hit me. And then they'd be like, I'm not sure the level of micro that was like when we got off, and I'm just like, yeah. And but nobody quite lost it, and there was at the time anyway, it felt like we were like just on another plane and doing this great thing together.
A little more
I
dialed
would listen
in.
back and see what if it was just the experience or.
But it felt like it was easier to get to that space communally
It was.
and sort of connect because everybody was ready for it.
Nice.
So sort of set the
It's
table
like
in
cheating.
a nice way.
It's like cheating.
Is it like cheating?
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I
like
don't know. Like this is the
skipping-
question. Rob, this
skipping-
is the question, right? Drugs, religion, is this?
Right,
It's
it's
like
it might be because you can get there without it.
right. I mean,
Like
so
But that's like you were using PEDs and had an edge.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, so
is it fair?
So one of the first papers I transferred from NYU to Reed College in Portland, Oregon. I don't know if you guys know about Reed College, but it's a place where people do a lot of psychedelics. And the first, can you imagine?
Oregon?
Yeah, Oregon. Can you imagine? I mean, actually, that's where when I saw you guys in January, it's because Reed College. I was giving a talk at Reed College, and then I saw you in Portland. At any rate, so there's the big question is can you have a drug-induced mystical experience? And religious traditions may or may not say that's okay, because if they say it's okay, then they'll say it's cheating, right?
Maybe.
Right. And so, but that was your first reaction that it was cheating. It's interesting.
Well, a little bit. I mean, I feel like, are you earning that mystical experience? by skipping a step of working together and creating a bond? Are you just like jumping that and getting this free bond? I don't know. I'm just kind of I'm just winging this conversation.
Right, but it's a really good question to ask, right?
I'm putting that question out there. I'm not saying it is or isn't.
Right.
But
I will say this, just in my own experience, having done a lot of psychedelics as a teenager and more, but like the thing, one of the biggest takeaways from that whole period, that whole experience, that was, in addition to all of the things you sort of discover about music and art and whatever, there's this connection to the universe, to the oneness of everything, how everything is all interconnected, and to have that kind of realization, to have that moment, to have that mystical experience where all of a sudden, like, you not only see, you feel, you recognize how everything is interconnected, and if not for the psychedelics to get me there, it's not to say you couldn't get there otherwise, but I certainly got there because of those psychedelic experiences. And again, just like the conversation we were having before, you don't lose that.
No, you don't.
And it's a really, really important,
I agree.
really important knowledge to gain and move forward with, and it
totally
forever changed my life in a positive direction.
No, I concur.
Yeah.
You were going to say?
That I think that's I agree completely with all of that. And then post stroke with me, the micro dosing was a really like it helped me kind of like, and I didn't feel like I was cheating. I actually like it was therapeutic. Like I really actually felt like I was getting in touch with playing with on the guitar and also playing with the band. It was I don't know, that was a newer thing where it actually felt like I was making some more headway. And I
Nicely said.
and we have not.
we spent the better part of a year doing this.
Yeah, and it's been a while.
Yeah, we just haven't.
Doing microdosing.
Yeah, just like every gig.
Yeah, don't stop here. I mean, like, please. Start here. Like, yay. So, I mean, I'm pushing on these questions partly because I wonder myself. We're thinking about this in this class. And for years and years and years, I went to shows, to your show. When I think the first time I did anything at your show was Red Rocks. Pigeons was at 2017, 18. Whatever it was, I think I just had like an edible. But for like 15 years before that, I didn't do anything. And I'm still going to shows, and I would get into this headspace. And of course, I've done a lot of psychedelics earlier than Following the Dead, all this kind of crap. But I could get into whatever headspace you created without the assistance.
Right.
And sometimes taking those kinds of levels like those makes the show less about the music and about the whole kind of cultural event.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was talking with my buddy. Is it worth it to smoke DMT at a show? And he's like, no fucking way, because you're just gonna like lay down and you will not hear what they play.
Right.
You're not gonna be there for that 15 minutes or whatever.
Right.
I said, well, what about like microdosing? Well, I mean, that's possible. But so it's a big question. Like, do you need these? Do you not need these? And of course, now with therapeutic, psychedelics is becoming part of the American landscape. Like, it's becoming more and more. It's easier to microdose mushrooms, whatever. And pharmaceutical companies are jumping in on this, and they're of course saying that it's going to be therapeutic for depression and so on. But they don't really talk about the mystical experience that you're going to have, right? If you're going to have one, and they don't know what to do with that. Something that I wanted to share with you, Chuck, is that after my head injury, people thought that I wasn't really going to do very much. I had it just when I finished my exams for my PhD. I was about to begin my dissertation.
Jesus.
And it was pretty crazy. And people thought I was going to be a bagger at like A&P or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then I would hallucinate. I don't know if you had hallucinations, but I would hallucinate a little bit. And go ahead.
I did.
And so my neurotherapist or neuropsychologist, whatever it is that I was talking to then, this was back in 1996, I was telling him about having these hallucinations, and I was like, but they really were not that they weren't that great.
Yeah.
What am I to do, guy?
Yeah, whatever, man. It was like not such a big
Dude,
deal.
was that Popeye?
Right.
What
You know,
about
I
like
remember-
second set drums, 1984 at the Greek?
Right, like that was. Yeah, I remember seeing like I grew up in Stony Brook, and my dad was a faculty member at Stony Brook. So I remember they had to keep 25. And I remember seeing Bush's Mouth, and I was like, yeah, I saw the Bush's Mouth. I was seeing much worse or better or whatever. And he said then he realized that I had that on the psychedelics, and then I recovered very quickly, and they all thought that it was because I had done so many psychedelics that I had already learned how to see the world in a new way, and I didn't go crazy when I saw something melt. It didn't matter to me that much. Right? So, what you're saying about therapeutic is that it could be that so maybe the psychedelic drug use that you did early in your life actually helped, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, go ahead.
It's hopefully like you know enough about yourself that helps you get back what you used to be. You have to,
You may know this, do psychedelics, does it physically, physically I guess, actually create neural pathways?
Yeah.
And that's what I think they would
Neuroplasticity.
say about, right,
Yeah.
and neuroplasticity,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, neuroplasticity.
And so it develops all of those things, and
Right.
so I would think in this case, for example, these
Right.
cases,
Right.
like it would be,
It's a good thing.
yeah.
So I like to joke, like you could wear a helmet, right, or you could take psychedelics. Both are gonna help.
Same thing.
Same thing. Just don't ride your bicycle on psychedelics or whatever. But no,
I did that
Who
many
hasn't done
times.
that? Who hasn't been Abby? Thanks to Abby, that all happened. But these are all kind of critical questions that people are asking, and because look, like when I listen to your music, whether I'm on psychedelics or not, whether it's a soundboard or if I'm at the show, like I get into that disassociated space. And I typically close my eyes. So it's funny, I'll be sitting in the first row, but because I want to hear you.
Yeah.
I close my eyes. I don't know, do you close your eyes when you play? Anybody?
Sometimes.
I do.
I do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never used to.
Yeah.
And I used to watch what I was doing,
Yeah.
look around the stage, whatever. And I close my eyes for
So-
most of the show at this point.
Do you really?
Even when I'm
Where are
singing,
you? Where
like-
are you when you close your eyes? I'm going to ask each one of you that question.
I'm just trying to stay present with the music. And so I'm not distracted by visuals. I can be more engaged with the sound and less with the vision.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I get it. But,
Kind of like Bobby was saying, you know,
Right.
I want to be present for, for the characters, for the moment, for that thing. So,
for Timmy.
yeah.
Go ahead. Where do you go?
The same. It's the same thing. It's all just like trying to really like get immersed and ride the wave, really, because it's all of like the rhythm, the tempo, the key, all of that stuff. You start not thinking about that, and it's more just like after playing for a long time, hopefully you just it just comes out, and that's the best way to do it.
Nice.
Hopefully.
And when you close your eyes?
Well, I'm in that space that I talked about before, like it's a meditative space, sort of.
Does it have a color?
It's textural. It has, I don't think it has a
Is
specific.
it spongy?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely textural in a spongy way, I guess.
You said you have colors.
Well, that's the thing, like different sounds, different vibes give me different colors.
Wow. Can you
So
name
that's
some
why
of those for us?
what's that?
Can you name some of those? Like connect those? Like what vibes do you get off of, say, purple?
Purple is a big one, actually. Purple is like a deep purple. Not so much.
Not this lavender.
Not that much, but like not a lavender, but like that's a really tuned in jam. Is very purple to me.
Alright, so I should wear purple tonight to help.
No, I don't think anyone can.
Oh, but
well,
you have
actually,
your eyes
I've
closed.
never.
You have your eyes closed.
I have no idea. Like the colors don't seem to be triggering the feeling. It's the feeling is triggers a color.
Nice.
And the playing, like, some solos are very green to me, like bass solos, and they, obviously, like, they say, oh, well, you're playing the blues, so you think it's blue, but it's not necessarily blue.
Oh.
It's,
Oh, I never thought about that.
No. It's just a sadness, and strife, I guess, but, it's hard to, I haven't pinned it down. It's just, it's definitely like the space becomes more purple the more that everybody is in tune,
Nice.
and darker and darker. Like it's just like everything is all the colors are absorbing into this thing. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I know it sounds weird.
No, it doesn't
It's
sound weird
crazy.
too, man. It sounds awesome. Really, it sounds great.
Yeah.
You can guess what my favorite color is.
Yellow.
Yeah. Do you guys see
Purple.
colors? What do you see?
I can't. I don't know how to.
Zeros and ones.
Yes, I see a grid. I see a spreadsheet. It's the thing that I see is it's almost like fluorescence, or like luminescence, but it's not. The colors are not brilliant. Everything is. There's like different. It's like different opacities of blackness, but they're luminescent. They're fluorescent.
Nice.
It's weird. It's hard to describe, and I know exactly what it is.
Beautiful.
And then sometimes it all comes together and it makes a donut. And it's
donut?
real, yeah, it's very
Does it
like
have a
just
flavor? Does it have a flavor?
no. It's not like that. It's like this. It's this intense ring
Okay.
that when it all comes together, and it's been happening since I was a child, like this thing. But like I
This is
can't.
the first I'm hearing of this ever.
I don't talk about it very much.
I've talked about.
I think it came from staring at the sun a lot when I was a kid. that was my first experience in dabbling with drugs.
Well, I spun around on a lawn until I fell over and stared directly into the sun.
Yeah, and then I closed my
Got really
eyes,
high.
and that's when it all began.
Do you see a color? Or texture?
Here and there, I'll get like different things. Like it depends on the music and
Beige.
yeah, yeah, gray.
Great.
No, usually it's more about it's rhythm. Like everything is rhythm, even though we have like like guitar. All everything in the band even though they produce a tone or sound, everyone has rhythm as well. So, and that part of that is like I think it's when everything gets really like complicated or just very like locked in, and
Nice.
you can feel that, and I think it's like a nervous system like misfire kind of thing. but it's almost like you can hear and see all of the instruments at the
Nice.
same time.
Oh wow.
And
That's beautiful.
sometimes it comes
That's
in
beautiful.
color or
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, it's interesting, and this will be my last comment, and then I'll because you've given me so much time, I'm so grateful. Is it that when we think about what you all are experiencing, and taking psychedelic drugs, and then Chuck and I and our brains getting kind of fucked up as they have, is it
damaged.
damage, right, brain damage, so to speak. So are these capabilities that we have, and is our conscious like a physical thing? Is it modified by something physical like acid or mushrooms or what have you? But all three of you have spoken about something that's kind of outside of that. right? And that so you know it's one of those it's you know it's hard to describe.
It's true.
You were gonna say something?
I'm not sure I completely understand the question.
Well, it's not really a question. It's just that. So is it is this creative capacity something that's physical? Is it outside of physicality?
Oh.
Right? And then we take substances that alter something physical, but do they give us and so that would seem to make you think that it is physical, but yet it makes you feel something that's beyond all that. I mean, it's complicated.
It's complicated. I mean, I think you're right. We are making an effort to get to another place, right? Outside of time and space as we know it. And so, and it's not for me to understand, I don't even understand time and space in the first place as we all accept it, you know, and then we are like everybody, the audience, everybody, we are all collectively trying to get to that space, which is a shift from what we know to be our day-to-day time and space continuum that we're all in, right? So, it's complicated.
It's complicated.
You know, and is it something more, or are we all just agreeing to just to be happy in the moment and have that shared experience?
Right.
Yeah.
No, this is the question. You were gonna say something?
Well, I was just thinking. Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about. I think arts, any true art is sort of a gateway to that space. You know, like music can maybe make you feel or see colors, and like maybe a painting can make you hear music. You know, and you have all these different true arts that can open up this place. What is that place? No one knows.
There you go. So, did you want to add anything?
I was just thinking about like songwriting is that's our job. And the whole thing is, I think, is just our way of organizing thought and feelings and everything else that we are interested in, you know. So you have to get it into a song in a weird way and make it make sense with other people, or you make it like between like one song to another. Like we'll go from one to the other, and it doesn't make any sense, but sometimes it makes like there's another like bridge between songs and genres. It's a weird thing to be able to just use as like a I don't know. It's
like our launch pad.
yeah. It's like toys, you know.
Yeah, that's our vehicle.
Right. So you know, it just struck me that first I'm so grateful that you gave me some time to chat with you, and in a really kind of simple way, like I'm so honored to be part of this kind of improvisational conversation. like it's really pretty intense.
Thank you.
Thank you. Like it's
It's
amazing.
Thanks, man.
Likewise.
I like how you have you're into it, of course, but like you know how to like it's good to talk to someone who has like these questions that we've not talked about before.
I'm really glad.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a new thing.
It's a new thing. Well, I'm really glad. Like I've wondered what you thought about this since I first heard you back in 2005.
Yeah.
Like I wonder what you all are thinking or where you are when, like when I listen to you. So I'm gonna turn this off.
Okay.
And is there anything else you want to add?
Oh, good.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
Actually,